Looks like from my invite.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Welcome to another evening of Dr. Cliff Burt and Friends, featuring the absolute very best in all of women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. Welcome to December. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, of course. And we cover all 5 HBCU conferences: the SIAC, CIAA, the HBCUAC, the MEAC, MEAC, and the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We have a great show for you. We're going to get started tonight. I want to say hello to my guests, and then we'll get started. I'm going to start out. Dr. Kemp, how are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm doing well. Thank you.
All righty. And also I want to say from Nashville, Music City, Steve, everybody, hello, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. Doing great. Hope everybody's doing well.
All right, ready for a great show. From Detroit, hello, Jim.
Hey, what up, though, from the Motor City? It's cold up here.
We're going to introduce our coach from Dillon University. We're also going to ask Jeff to type in the chat for us right now. And so, hey, let's get started. Let's talk about this situation that happened up in Washington, D.C. just about a week ago. Before we do that, let's say a 10-second moment of silence. All right. And we also want to say welcome to our listeners from Detroit WGPR 107.5 HD2 FM. About a week or so ago in Washington, the nation's capital, 2 National Guardsmen were shot, or a woman and a man, both in the National Guard, West Virginia. One has died. The other's in critical condition, fighting for their life. And the suspect in custody is still in the hospital. He was shot as well, a young man from Afghanistan. Your thoughts on this, Steve? Give us your thoughts on what you think is going on here. Give us about a minute on this one, Steve.
Excuse me. Well, I think the main thing is that those 2 people should have been home in West Virginia. They never should have been where they were. So that goes on the president and only him. And the shooter was in the military, in the United States military for 10 years. So you got a situation that never should have happened. And that, I'm not going to say it, but hadn't even thought about taking the blame. And nobody's calling him on it. Not enough people in his party are calling him on it. That girl should be alive.
All right, Steve, you got a lot of noise in your background there. But Steve, this person was actually from Afghanistan. They did work with our military in the sense of when we were in Afghanistan, they worked as an informant. Some of the citizens from Afghanistan, they were promised citizenship here when the war ended by Biden. They were brought here. He was vetted by the Trump administration as well. But the understanding I have is now we're threatening to send those people back who were promised to have asylum here for helping us. And he felt threatened by that. Let me bring James in on this here. Jim, give us your thought, the shooting that happened in D.C. Thanks, Steve. Jim, give me your thoughts on this topic here.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm on new equipment. But I always thought that something like this was going to happen in Chicago, where you have people that are trained for peace in a place they don't need to be. You need to let the police handle it. But back to what you said about the people going back to Afghanistan, that's a death sentence.
Yeah.
Because they are already looked at as snitches. And if they go back there, it's just going to be a death sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. And so some of this, the gentleman was brought before the judge today by video. He's pleaded not guilty. We'll see how this goes. And then in response, it's even stronger, at least from the president. Now they say on immigrant banning, now they say 30 countries. First it was 19 to 20. I think it's going to make the situation worse. But hey, Dr. Tiff, give us your thoughts on this, about 30 seconds.
Yes, Dr. Burt, thank you. I think it's really sad. As everyone mentioned, I feel our condolences actually goes off to the young guardsman family. Like Steve said, of course, they should not have been in D.C., first of all, protecting the city, quote unquote. And it's just a sad situation that this young man felt like he came here to the United States after helping us in his home country, thinking that everything would be okay once he got here. And he's leaving behind a wife and 5 children of his own, because of his actions. So it's overall sad for everyone.
Yes, it is. And so, unfortunately, I think we'll have some more some situations like this again, as Steve has said. And we're just going to continue to pray. We'll keep up with this. Now, let's talk about something else. And that is yesterday marked the 70th anniversary. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat down in Montgomery, Alabama on that bus, and which sparked a young preacher named Dr. Martin Luther King to get involved. They led that Montgomery boycott, which was the official beginning of the civil rights movement. We've come a long way. We have a long way to go. Steve, give us your thoughts on that 70th anniversary.
It was such a brave thing for her to do, especially at that time. And it just shows you sometimes it just takes one to get something started. And who was the first one? They said she wasn't the first one. Who was the first person to do it?
She wasn't the first one. I can't think of the name, but she was the first one that got, you're right, the notoriety that brought Dr. King in it. But there was someone who actually stood up for that about a year or so before that. You're absolutely right. Kudos to her as well. We'll hunt her name down. But hey, the mother of the civil rights, and they boycotted those buses to show what when you stick together, what can happen, and change the system, at least temporarily with the buses there for just a second. So hey, kudos. 70 years. We need to Dr. Champ. Give us your thoughts. Mother of the civil rights, Rosa Parks, celebrating yesterday. And our young people need to know about this. You know, this is not taught in our books. In fact, they're trying to erase it, of what happened 70 years ago from yesterday down in Montgomery, Alabama. Dr. King? Dr. Kemp?
You're absolutely right, Dr. Burt. You just took the words out of my mouth. As I was just going to say, they're definitely trying to erase our history. And it's very important that we continue to remember this as well as teaching our children and grandchildren. I mean, not only was Rosa Parks, of course, she was known as the mother of the civil rights, but the entire city, they had been fighting the bus boycotts for a year or so before that. And then again, they were just tired of being sick and tired, and they took a stand and decided that they were going to definitely stick together, and thus there became the movement. So we, our hats goes off, and we have a lot of big shoulders that we are standing on, and so we just have to make sure that we continue to teach our children and remember ourselves, what's going on and how we can, once we stand together as a people, we can do a lot of things.
Yes. Thanks so much. We do want to remember we lost a legend in music this past few days, Anton Tavares. Now, you've got to be what they call old school a little bit, but he led the group, Tavares, and I don't know if you remember the songs, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel and things like that. But he passed. That legendary group, along with several groups from the 60s, just opened the way for all the artists and all the opportunities that they have today. I don't know, Steve, do you remember some of those songs from Tavares?
I do. The one that you mentioned was probably the most popular one. And it was another one. I just can't think of it. But yeah, I was well aware of Tavares. They were a good group.
They were a good group. Most recently, I guess they were playing on CBS a lot. Wow.
They had that song, I don't know if it was called Remember What I Told You to Forget. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was them or not.
Okay. Jim, do you remember the group Tavares? Jim, do you remember the group Tavares? Okay, Jim's not there. All right. So, yeah, we're going to continue on. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back. Okay? Welcome back. Dr. Cliff Burt and Friends, featuring the absolute very best in all Olympic sports, HBCU, athletics, and so much more. Are you living with diabetes at risk? Tired of being stuck in a cycle of attempts to achieve better health? You said yes? Abundant Life LLC may be able to help you. One size doesn't fit all, but using effective strategies empowers you to reach your goals. Try something new. Break the cycle. Website abundant-life-llc.com. You can reach Dr. Rashay Freeman at 690. All right. It's a new month, and we have a new woman of the month. And boy, that is none other than Miss Becky Hammond of the Las Vegas State. Wow. Becky Hammond, of course, we know is the champion of the four-time coach of the four-time Las Vegas Aces. She was a dynamite player who also played in the WNBA and an All-American back in Colorado. She was also one of the first women assistant coaches who coached under Popovich down in the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA. And I just don't think we could have a better woman of the month. Steve, give me about 30 seconds. Becky Hammond. Yeah.
She's she's a legend. And, Pop had her on her staff, and it wasn't because she was a token. It was because she knows what she's doing. And she was a valuable voice. I mean, she was a coach with them. It wasn't she was just there and no. She was coaching. Pop let her do her thing. And it didn't surprise me this year. I said she's going to get them together and they're going to win the whole thing. So I just congratulations to her.
Yes, yes. Becky Hammond. Jim, give me your thoughts on Becky Hammond. Coach Becky Hammond. Jim?
Well, Cliff, I just want to say first that Claudette Colvin is the lady's name, who
Okay.
was the first bus. But Becky Hammond is a great coach, man or woman. It doesn't matter. She can coach men, she can coach females. And like Steve said, once they got in the playoffs and got hot, I knew that they were going to be the team to beat because she's just that good of a coach.
Yep.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Dr. Kim, Becky Hammond.
I'm so excited to have her as the Woman of the Month for December. I didn't realize that she was from Russia. You know, just looking at her name, I wouldn't have never thought that. And it's just wonderful to be able to share her information. As the team mentioned, she was hired by the San Antonio Spurs in 2014, in which she became the first female full-time assistant coach in the NBA, and then she coached as a head coach in the NBA Summer League during that time, and then became the first WNBA coach to earn over $1 million per year. So we are happy and excited to have Coach Becky Hammond as our Woman of the Month for December.
For Women Executive of the Month, this woman is special. Gail Marie LaJournée Bird Benson, born January 26, 1947, an American businesswoman. She's the only female who's the owner of the New Orleans Saints of the National Football League and the New Orleans Pelicans, a majority owner of the National Basketball Association. She became the principal owner of the Saints and the Pelicans following the death of her husband, Tom Benson. But she's been running both of those organizations exceptionally, and she's a major part of history. She, what do you think about her? What do you think about her? Then we don't talk about her anymore.
You know what? She's something else, and she's very well respected. And tonight is funny. I was thinking about the New Orleans Pelicans and what she needs to do with Zion. And so it's funny that she would come up, but I'll talk to her about that later.
Now, she's also promotes women in her organization. She promoted Swin Cash. Swin Cash is very high up in the New Orleans Pelicans organization, and so I just applaud her. We have her with us all month. That is Miss Gail Benson, y'all. Miss Gail Benson. Gail Benson. All righty. We have our two celebrity birthdays with us. One was born on 12/3. Kim, do you have it for us? Montel Jordan.
Sure. Montel Deshaun Jordan was born December 3rd, tomorrow. He's an American R&B singer, songwriter, and producer. He was best known for his 1995 singles, This Is How We Do It. We still play that today and get it on tonight. He was the primary male solo artist on Def Jam's Def Soul imprint until leaving the label in 2003. He is also known for his 1990 hit single Let's Ride featuring Master P and Silk, The Shocker. In 2010, he became the worship leader at Victory World Church in Norcross, Georgia. We wish him a happy birthday, Mr. Mike.
Do you have the one and only Miss Joy Reid? She was born on 12/8.
Yes, I do. Joy Reid is an American political commentator and television host. She was a national correspondent for MSNBC and is best known for her show, The Readout from 2020 to 25, and The Reid Report from 2014 to 15, and AM Jordan. The New York Times described her as a heroine emerging from the political movement and protests against Donald Trump. She has written 3 books, Fracture, Barack Obama, The Clintons and the Racial Divide, The Man Who Sold America, Trump and the Unraveling of the American Story, Edgar and Murley, The Medgar Evers Love Story That Awakened America.
Mm-hmm. Another, Miss Joy Reid, and she will be back on top. She will be back. Now, volleyball, NAIA championships, Division 3, Division 2, and Division 1. Let's go on and tell you how the table is set. Now, in the NAIA, you have 24 teams left. They begin play December 3rd through December 5th. They go into the quarterfinals on December 6th. And then the semifinals and the finals will be on December 9th. And so those teams are getting ready to get it on. We had, of course, two representatives. One is the coaches with us tonight from the Dillon University Blue Devils. And then we also have Fisk University. Both of those were in the first round. They did very well. And we applaud them, representatives. Yeah. We're down to the NAIA Sweet 16 teams. Also in Division 3, the national championships right now. We have left in those championships. They're down to the quarterfinals, and they will be playing their championships. You can see it on the website coming up. The semifinals will be on 12th. The championships will be on 12/6. Of course, we don't have the Junior Eagles with former guest Heather Pavlik playing this year, but it's going to be great. You can see on the website. Everybody go take a look. And then let's go on. And we have the Division 2 women's field of 64. Their first round is 12-4, and they begin play. They'll have a first, a second, third round. They have from the SIAC representing is Spring Hill. They'll be playing the number 1 seed Tampa. And also in another bracket, Fayetteville State, the Broncos from the CIAA. They will be playing against Gannon, who is the number 1 seed. So Division 2, those national playoffs are ready to go. And then let's go to Division 1. And in those Division 1, these are the number 1 seeds. Nebraska has a number 1 seed. Texas has a number 1 seed. Kentucky has a number 1 seed, and also Pittsburgh has a number 1 seed. So here we are, ready to go. We'll be playing Arizona, number 2 seed in the first round. So hey, we are ready to go, and these teams are ready to go and get it on for the national championships, y'all. Volleyball from the SWAC conference are also in the tournament. So the Rattlers and Coppin State both represent the HBCUs in the Division 1 playoff. Dr. Kemp, can you believe it? We're here already. D1, D2, D3, and NAIA all will be decided this month. What do you think?
I can't believe it already. We're going to look up next time, and you're going to be saying, can you believe volleyball is back again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts so quickly, Jay. As soon as kids hit the campus in August, it seems like they're playing games the first week almost.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes so quickly, and a lot of country doesn't know. Even though I'm happy to see the progress, we started to see more volleyball games Sunday afternoon on TVs that's showing a lot of D1, but the awareness of volleyball, and this is the March Madness of volleyball. It's going to be a great time. Great time. There will be a new national champion in Division 3. And again, you could go to the website and we could actually download and watch the matches. We had Coach Heather Pavlik, 3-time NCAA Division 3 champion. And this year her team finished 26-8, 27-8. They got knocked out in the third round. There's some ferocious action in Division 3 volleyball as well. People don't know Division 3 sometimes. There's some great athletes there too. But we want to say, again, congratulations to Coach Heather Pavlik. She went on a 4-year run at Juniata. They were 34-1. Then they won the next year 35-0, 35-0. This year they had to drop off. They were 26-8. What a run, Coach Heather Pavlik, Juniata, former guest house. All right. Steve, what do you think? Coach Heather Pavlik, pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is, in volleyball, it's really hard because you can make such a difference as a coach in volleyball as far as developing players. So if you can develop players so much that for you to have a run like she did is even more impressive.
Nothing but phenomenal. And we're looking forward to seeing who's the champ and then the AP's top team. So let's go to the SWAC conference. And these are the overall records here for women's basketball. Texas Southern is 3-3, Alcorn State 3-4, Prairie View 2-5, Jackson State 2-5, Alabama State 2-5, Arkansas Pine Bluff 2-5, Southern 1-4, Mississippi Valley State 1-4, Bethune-Cookman 1-4, Alabama A&M 1-6, and Grambling State 1-7. Florida A&M, the Rattlers, are 0-7. I think Brenda, Coach Gordon, who plays the Vols, is coaching them. Now let's go to the MEAC. Overall record: Howard 4-2, Maryland Eastern 5-5, Delaware State 3-6, Norfolk State 3-6, South Carolina State 2-6, North Carolina Central 1-6, Coppin State 1-7, and Morgan State is 1-8. These are all what? Non-conference records. Now, let's talk about this. Women's college basketball, Division 1. The UConn Huskies are 7-0. They're still number 1 in the country. But jumping up to number 2 is Texas. Madison Booker, the All-American, playing great basketball. They have defeated South Carolina State recently, and they jumped over. South Carolina, jumped over. Number 3, Don Staley, South Carolina. They're 7-1. Texas was 8-0, by the way. UCLA 8-1. LSU is 8-0, and Steve, they're averaging over 100 points a game for 8 straight games. 6-1. Maryland is number 7 at 9-0. CU 8-0. At number 8, number 9, Oklahoma 7-1, and Iowa State 9-0. They are number 10. So hey, the ladies are off and running. And hey, let's get ready early for the madness. We're going to take a quick break, and you're going to come right back, Jim. We're ready for football, and then Steve, you'll go right behind him in basketball. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Welcome back. Cliff Burt and Friends, featuring the absolute very best in all women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. Jim, take us away. Football.
Well, in the SWAC for their championship, View is playing Jackson State. And even though the SWAC is a 12-team conference, Prairie View and Jackson State have not met since 2021. And that was in the championship game. So this is going to be a new matchup with Jackson State, the reigning Black College champion, playing against the upstart Prairie View A&M. So I'm predicting a Prairie View win there.
All righty. Prairie View?
No. Let me change that.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, let me change that to a Jackson State close battle, but win nonetheless.
Okay, all right. We'll
Now, as we said last week, we had 5 teams in the Division II football playoffs. 3 of them lost, 2 of them won. And guess what? The 2 that won had to play each other. And Albany State defeated Benedict 4-12. And the Albany State Golden Ram won to 12-1, set a new school record for wins. All SIC quarterback Isaiah Knowles had 244 passing yards on 9 of 19 passing and a touchdown.
Wonderful.
Now, going on to the FBS, and I just saw the selection show that they just had, Ohio State, Indiana, still 1-2. Georgia is 3, and Texas Tech is 4. Those 4 teams will get a bye as of right now. Ohio State and Indiana play each other. Georgia plays Alabama, and Texas Tech plays BYU in their respective championship games. Number 5 is Oregon. Number 6 is Ole Miss, where Lane Kiffin left to go to Louisiana State.
Oh, boy. Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
Yeah, we could talk all day about that, but we won't. Let's see. Texas A&M is number 7. Oklahoma 8. Alabama 9. That's a run of 4 teams from the SEC. Now, where it gets interesting, Notre Dame is 10, BYU 11, and Miami 12. Why is that interesting? In the first game of the year, Miami beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is ranked higher than them and has a better chance of moving on. Now, as I said, the 11th and 12th team, BYU can stake a claim by winning number 11, but Virginia plays Duke for the ACC championship. So if Virginia wins, they'll move up to number 12, knock Miami out. And if Duke wins, it'll knock the ACC out because Duke is 7-5 and unranked. So we've got to pay close attention to these playoff games that we're going to have this weekend.
Now, Jim, does Vanderbilt not have any chance of getting in the playoffs? They've had a great season, but no mathematical chance of getting in?
Oh, no, Vanderbilt does. They're 14th.
Okay.
So it would take some, maybe Alabama losing, BYU losing. Vanderbilt could conceivably get in.
Wow, okay.
That is not out of the realm of the impossibility. Now, Marshall Falk took a job, and I like what the HBCUs are doing now, hiring ex-pros to take over programs, and this will be a recruiting tool to get more recruits in. Players won't recognize these players, but the parents will. And Marshall Falk was a dual threat back, and I believe he's from the state of Louisiana as well. Went to San Diego State and played in the pros on their Greatest Show on Turf team. So I think he will do Southern University.
Yeah. Jim, Can you talk about the Southern win this past week down there in New Orleans? Just a brief bit.
Well,
and their record, that was wild.
Southern doubled up their win total by beating Grambling this weekend in that classic. And as I said before, these classics and the playoffs in the SWAC are the main reason that they aren't in the 1AA playoffs. These things are more profitable to them in the 1AA playoffs. But, those games are always a crapshoot. Your records go out the window, as you see with Southern defeating Grambling. Grambling had a better record. And another one, another one like that. Yes, they were 1-10. Another one like that is the Bethune-Cookman FAMU, where FAMU's had a much better team, but Bethune-Cookman has a 3-4 game winning streak over them. Wow. But you never know. Now, we have a lot to give thanks for, but the Thanksgiving Day game with the Packers and Lions is not one of them. Packers beat the Lions 31-24. Also, the Chiefs lost to 6-6 now, lost to the Cowboys 28-31. And as someone has said, they said you cannot count out the Cincinnati Bengals once Burrow comes back. They defeated the Ravens 32-14. Yeah. The Bears in the game, I didn't think they had it in them, beat the Eagles, but I think the Eagles look like they get to the Super Bowl in even years, and in odd years, they lose it at the end of the year. The 49ers defeated the Browns. Shedeur had a decent game, but he's going to start this week against the Titans. Steve, you might want to go to that game.
Yeah.
Jaguars defeated the Titans 25-3. Interesting fact, they had a 335-pound nose guard that had to go in and be the long snapper when the long snapper got hurt. He did a good job. Now, Texans defeated the Colts. The Colts are on a 3-game losing streak, and now you've got 3 teams in the AFC South that could be playoff bound: the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Dolphins beat the Saints 21-17. Falcons, and I pity my man, Raheem, lost to the Jets 27-24. The Cardinals lost a close one to the Buccaneers 17-20. The Rams were upset by the upstart Panthers 31-28. The Vikings played a 4-string quarterback and lost 26-0. It was wonders if Justin Jefferson is going to want to opt out after this year. Steelers with my man, quarterback hurt was a broken wrist. He got thrown down. I think he might have worked it worse. Lost Aaron Rodgers. They lost to the Bills 26-7 with a record rushing in Pittsburgh. They had 253 yards against the vaunted Steeler defense. Chargers beat the Raiders 31-14. Broncos, a game that was much closer than it should have been, beat the Commanders in overtime 27-26. As a pass, the Commanders went for 2, and the pass was knocked down. And finally, yesterday, the Giants lost to the Patriots 33-15. And Jackson Dart is not going to play too long if he doesn't stop taking these stupid hits. Yeah. Get down and get out of bounds.
Steve, take it to top 10 men's basketball NCAA and the NBA standings before we bring on Coach Frank.
Yes, sir. I'm actually watching Duke and Florida right now. Duke is ahead, about to go into halftime by 12. This is the SEC Challenge. And North Carolina, Kentucky will play later. Tennessee and Syracuse are playing right now. Excuse me. But top 10, Arizona remains number 1 at 7-0. Purdue, number 2 at 7-0. Michigan, number 3 at 7-0. UConn, number 4 at 6-1. BYU is 5 at 6-1. Number 6 is Duke at 6-0. Number 7 is Louisville. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Hold on. I dropped my phone. 7 is Louisville at 7-0. 8 is Iowa State at 7-0. 9, Michigan State at 7-0. And 10 is Gonzaga at 7-1. So we had some good games over the break. I know that Arkansas and Duke played, and everybody's making the same mistake with Duke. You trying to guard a monster with a man.
I don't know how many he's got at that 36 right now, but it's a lot.
Yeah. He's a monster. Yeah. So you look at Michigan, what they did to Gonzaga, they beat them by 30. Gonzaga living a lie, as they do every year. They live in a lie. So, but as it gets closer, we'll have some Christmas tournaments coming up, and then we'll be ready to get into the conference play. Florida, let me say something about Florida. Florida won national championship last year. Florida won national champ last year because he had 3 good guards that could make up for his coaching mistakes. That almost cost him in the championship game because they were cutting Walter Clayton off and he finally got loose. But he should have gone to a 1-4 flat and let Clayton go and get his offense. That's why the game was as close as it was. Houston plays good defense, but you flatten it out and let that boy go. He gets a lot of credit though. But moving on to the NBA, unless anybody got any college questions. Okay. In the East, we have Detroit at 17-4, first place. New York, 13-6, second place. Miami is third place at 14-7. And Tyler Hero is back. He's played about maybe 4 games. I know 3, but maybe 4 games. Toronto is fourth at 14-7. Orlando is fifth at 13-8. And they've been without Paolo Banchero since the Knicks game. What was that? Thanksgiving. Cleveland is in sixth place at 13-9. Atlanta is in seventh place at 13-9. Boston is in eighth place at 11-9. And I'm thinking Trae Young should be getting ready to come back for Atlanta. Now for Philadelphia, who's ninth place, and Chicago's in 10th, Philadelphia is playing tonight, and they're without Joel Embiid, Paul George, Kelly Oubre. I think one of the guards is down, so they just have an injury bug. In the West, Oklahoma City is 20-1, and I think they're going for their 13th straight tonight. They play at Golden State tonight.
Yeah, my hand. They jail. Come in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also they got their second best quarterback, Jalen Williams, who is out
all year, but they got him back about 3 games ago. The Lakers are in second place at 15-5. Houston's in third at 13-5. Denver's in fourth at 14-6. San Antonio is in fifth place at 13-6. Wembanyama's still out, and there's not a timetable yet for his return with the calf injury. Minnesota is 6th at 12-8. Phoenix is 7th at 13-9. Golden State is 8th at 11-10. And I know they're without Steph tonight, but they may be without Butler. And I know they're without Horford and probably somebody else. And Memphis and Portland are coming in at 9-10. And both of those teams are under 500. Williamson is going to be out the next 3 weeks with an adductor strain. And so 3 weeks. So if you're talking about Zion's injury, you're talking about 6 weeks. Yeah, there ain't going to be no 3. And Luka's leading the league in scoring, 35.3. Next is SGA, 32.5. Third is Tyrese Maxey at 32.3. Fourth is a tie for 4th between Giannis Antetokounmpo and Mitchell, the Spider-Man, at 30.6.
Definitely have the very best in all the women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. The Stretch Boss, Tina Rivera, physical therapist, thestretchboss.com, 862-299-9471. That's the Stretch Boss at yahoo.com. Her coaching experience spans both the NAIA and NCAA, as she served as the head coach of the women's volleyball team at Mississippi Valley State, trying to take it over at Loyola. Now, Mississippi Valley State, they boasted a third place SWAC Eastern Conference Division finish in the first round SWAC tournament upset with the top seeded Prairie View A&M during her tenure at the Division II level, with Frank spent 1 season as the head coach at St. Andrews University, North Carolina. A lasting impact aided in the restoration of revitalization of the Knight's previously dormant volleyball program. She came to Dillard University after some more extensive coaching history, and she brought her 2 children with her daughter, Alex, and son, Elijah, and they're both proud to be a part of the Dillard family. As a first-year volleyball coach at Dillard University this year, she led the Dillard Blue Devils to the HBCUAC championship over Fisk University in a thrilling 5-game match. She went on to represent the HBCUAC in the first round of the NAIA 64-team national tournament. Let's welcome the champion, Coach Angela Frank, to the show. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it Coach Frank or Frankie?
Frankie.
All right, we got it right. We want to let our co-host, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I want to let our co-host say hello to you. And we definitely want to get started out. Kent, we'll start with you.
Good evening, Coach Frankie. Welcome to the show. Congratulations to you and your team on the championship. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Coach Frankie. Glad to have you on the show, and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we want to congratulate you, Coach. So you have extensive background. Born where? Out west in California or in Arizona? Where are you from?
Phoenix, Arizona.
That's what I thought. It's Arizona. Tell me, how did you, the player, we're going to come right up to going out of high school, college, coaching, how did you find out your first love for volleyball? When did you first decide it was the game for you?
I was playing volleyball since sixth grade. Once I got to high school, I was a volleyball, basketball, track, three-sport athlete. And basketball originally was my first love, but then I really found my groove my junior year. I had an amazing high school coach, Jennifer Mattingly, and she just really pushed me. And then all of a sudden I became a one sport athlete, volleyball, and it just took off from there. So junior college to Jackson State and never looked back.
Wow. And so when you were, I want to ask you this, let's go back a little to high school, when you were a two-sport athlete, and because a lot of our young people today, or at least have been said, well, I got to do one or the other. Do you advise they take a specialty in one sport earlier, or they play as many as they can in high school before they even specialize out? What do you think is the best way to develop?
I think that they should explore all avenues, and also all these different sports, they play off of each other. So I think that helps you become a well-rounded athlete, helps you with time management, and it doesn't put you into a rut where you can get burnout if you're just so focused on just playing one sport year-round.
Gotcha. And also, you talked about your high school coach, and I know that you bring in the academics to your players from all the programs you've been at. I know Dylan's reputation inside out. We've interviewed the track coach there, and we also talked about Dr. Bell. But when did your discipline for both get started academically and athletically to bring that along with you?
Great question. No, I will be honest. In high school and my freshman year of college, I was an athletic student, and I had to learn the hard way. My freshman year of college, my first semester, I finished, I think, not even with a 1.0. I didn't even pass 12 credit hours. I was the first and only person in my family to play sports at a higher level, so I didn't have any guidance. And after my first semester freshman year, I just had a complete 180. And I understood that if I wanted to go, because my goal was to go D1, get a full scholarship. My mentor, which was my assistant coach at South Mountain, Dr. Brian Murphy, was like, you got to get your grades up. You're going to get recruited more if you have, a 3.0 or higher. And that was back in 2002. That's where I really turned the corner and turned the page to really look at I have to be a well-rounded student athlete versus an athletic student.
And this is at Mountain Community College in Phoenix when this coach gave you this great advice. And while we're talking about community colleges, because I think this is a misstep, at least an overlooked step for a lot of athletes. Do you advise a lot of athletes that maybe they should step back and start at a community college, or even students for that fact, and would say find themselves and then move on, rather than some will go or try to go to a college that they're not ready for and end up not making it?
Percent. And I think you're right. There is this misconception about junior college that if you go there, it means that you aren't a strong scholar, which is the complete opposite. Sometimes if you don't know exactly what you want to do, junior college is a great starting point. It's cheaper. You can knock out your associates. You can start work towards your 4-year degree without spending the same amount of money. I coached for 2 seasons at Phoenix College, and we recruited 3 and above student athletes because they would receive a full academic scholarship. So I think that moving forward, I think junior college is getting a lot more credit. And now with the NCAA making these different changes, I definitely think that if students are still trying to hone in on their craft and they're shooting for those full ride scholarships, that there's no shame in going junior college first and then seeking 4 years after.
I'd really appreciate that you open up about this and giving this advice, especially today's world, society, athletic world as well, where we don't want our students coming out drowned in debt or drowned unnecessarily. So you go through the junior college, you get recruited to Jackson State, you get your D1 scholarship. What position in volleyball were you playing? Were you a setter?
Oh, no. I was a 5'9" left-handed middle blocker.
So you jumped in if you blocked.
Yeah, I used to be able to jump. Yes.
Remember, she played basketball, Dr. B.
And so you get to Jackson State and you're playing. How was that adjustment going to the bigger campus, going to HBCU, and all of those things there?
It was an adjustment because going junior college, my goal, it was, D1, but being on the West Coast, you didn't hear a lot about HBCUs. And again, my assistant coach at South Mountain, he was Black, and he was like, hey, look to HBCUs. They have money and they need players. So I had never even heard of the SWAC or MEAC or any HBCUs before my sophomore year of college. So again, they give opportunities to undersized players, but have the talent, and you get that D1 level. So I appreciate Coach Rose Washington. She retired 2 years ago from Jackson State. She took a chance on me, but the culture shock was definitely a culture shock going from Phoenix, Arizona to Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coach, I just let you know you're amongst an HBCU family. Yes, we're going to talk about the master. We still let them deal. If you got 2 Fiskites and 2 Tennessee State Tigers on here, but we love you. We want to have you on here, and so you're amongst HBCU family. But now you went to Jackson State, but you finished at Alcorn State. Tell us about that.
So at Jackson State, I ended up having double knee surgery. So I got to play 1 year, probably most difficult year of my life, but I enjoyed it. I made lifelong friends, both on the court and like in the classroom. And then I had also been recruited by Alcorn during my recruiting process when I chose Jackson State. So then I just decided, let me go and just finish out my academic side at Alcorn. And I loved it. People were like, why would you go to Alcorn? I was like, why not? Finished with my undergrad and my master's there. And
Congratulations.
the volleyball graduate assistant at Alcorn.
And that's kind of the way you got started on your coaching track.
Yes.
Now, and I'm going to bring our co-host in here as well. So let's get ready, team. But you were coaching for quite a few different stops. Every team improved, and then you also went. You acted as a counselor at the Prep Academy. You also served in some other positions. Tell us how those positions prepared you before you came to Dillard to deal with not just the athletic side, we know that, but also how to bring students along as well.
Sure. So I realized I was going to wear many hats as a college coach. When I first got to McCook in Nebraska, I was the housing director and the volleyball coach. Then at Valley, I was an academic counselor plus a hyper instructor. When I got to Loyola, I became the compliance coordinator there when the NAIA first started their eligibility center. So that's when I really got into the compliance part and understanding, progress towards degree, even at the NAIA level, and everything you needed to do, maintaining your grades, picking a major, sticking with a major, making the right decision as a junior for your major. And then when I got to Phoenix College, I was the student athletic academic success coordinator. So doing grade checks for all the sports, making sure that we had progress reports and we were communicating with teachers. And then I did 4 years as a athletic director at Woodland Hills, Skyline, Gila River. And then I was also the guidance counselor at Valor Prep. So I've always had athletics either in the forefront or in the back of any career, and working with these students, they want to go to the next level, but sometimes they don't have the guidance, not because nobody cares, but sometimes they're first generation college students. So they don't know the direction and they don't realize that your athletic talent will not outweigh your academic eligibility. Just promoting, staying on track, and you're going to be recruited so much more if coaches know they can trust that you're going to do what you need to do in the classroom as well as on the court or field.
Coach Frankie, we got to take a 30-second break because we also do some radio recording here. And then we'll be Angela Frankie from Dillard University, the champions of the HBCUAC. Yeah, the sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. We're here with Coach Angela Frankie, women's volleyball coach, HBCUAC 2025 champions. Coach, I'm going to let our co-host come in, but I want to first of all tell me about the thrilling match We defeated Fisk University for the HBCUAC championship this year. I heard it was quite a nail biter. Huh? 5 games, 15-12 in the fifth game. Tell us about it.
Oh yeah, no, because we are the back-to-back reigning
Give it
HBCUAC
up.
champions.
Yeah.
So last year, last year we swept the entire tournament. We went 3-0 all 3 games. And then this year we started out 3-0 our first round, and then Philander Smith, they took a set off of us, and then going into the championship game against Fisk, Coach Jess, she had a great recruiting class. So did we. We knew that being the East and the Western regular season champions, that it was going to be a battle. We watched film. I watched more film. We knew who we had to isolate, who we targeted in order to be successful. And then when it came game day, I just told the girls, like, this is what you've been working for all season. This was the goal you set last year, and we're here. And our biggest point this entire season was like, you have to take it like point by point. We can't jump ahead. We have to live in the moment. And they had a little bit of nerves about them, but even though they were very close sets, none of them were easy wins. But once we got into our groove and we lost that 4th set by 2, going into that 5th set, they knew, like, we don't have 25 points to play around. And we knew we had to play mini sets by 5. And I think it was 11-14 when a timeout was called. And it was like, you guys got to finish. We can't leave it up to chance. I don't ask them to play perfect all the time, but I was like, this is the moment. We play perfect. Leave nothing to, was that in? Was that out? Was that net? You guys got to play perfect this next point. Ended up not getting it on that point, but we got it on 14-12.
Give it up. Give it up.
Did you say me, Cliff?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your senior year in high school, when you decided to concentrate on volleyball, did your volleyball coach and your basketball coach have a physical altercation?
No, I mean, I played both sports. It wasn't until after the season that I was like, I think I'm going to go towards volleyball. That's what I wanted a scholarship for. And then my first year, junior college, I only played volleyball. And then when I transferred to South, the basketball coach approached me and was like, hey, if you want to come out after your season, come on. And I said, okay. And we finished volleyball. Basketball had open gym. I went out there. In high school, I was a post player. In college, I am not a post player. And those girls were big. There was contact. And I was like, you know what?
Business decision.
Yes.
I can't believe what you were saying about your grades, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and who that sound like, y'all? Sound like me.
But it's a great story of your mentorship. And it's also a great testament to the junior college and community college level that, like I said, a lot of students sometimes, or student athletes, we overlook. So I'm glad you educate us on that and educate our audience tonight on that as well, Coach Frankie. I appreciate it.
Because you're so smart. That's why I was just surprised.
I mean, you go from high school where they call your parents if you're late or don't go to school, and you get to college and they don't do that. I had 8:00 classes and I was like, oh, I'm not going. And then I learned, like, you have to go. So it was a turning point. And like I said, because I was so focused on that volleyball piece, that's really what pushed me, because I was like, I have to be eligible. So I took 21 credits my second semester, freshman year, so that I could be eligible for my sophomore season.
Well, thank you for coming on, but I wanted to ask a couple questions. First question is, we read the standings in the HBCUAC conference volleyball every week, and it seems like we have a bunch of good teams at the top of the HBCUAC. Can you?
Oh, yeah. It was added Houston Tillotson and Paul Quinn to the conference this year. And then we also split. Last year we did crossovers. So then that way we had an overall conference. Everybody played everybody at least once. And then this year we split into 2 divisions. So we had an East and a West. And if we crossed over, it didn't count towards conference play. And I mean, everybody improved so much over a year's time. And I'm not going to be biased, but the West, we really beat each other up. It was a dogfight between really Houston Tillotson, Dillard, Philander Smith. She's improving her program every year, and Paul Quinn. So we really can compete at a very high level across the board. And I'm hoping as a conference, we start getting more of that recognition, especially as an HBCU conference, that we can play and we can compete with and at any level out there.
And we're seeing with a lot of the upper level sports that they're recruiting more in the junior colleges because you have 2 years to know what you're getting as opposed to the high school. Do you do a little of both or more one of the other?
No, I definitely do a little of both. It depends on what we have coming back and what we need and what our depth looks like. This year, we only lost 3. We lost an outside, a right side, and a setter, which granted, they were all key players, but we returned everybody else. This year, we're graduating our setter. She was setter of the year this year for the HBCUAC, and we're graduating a libero DS, but we have an 8 class, our juniors, upcoming seniors. We have 8 of them. So we're really focused on, we have to replace Nani, our setter. And then we do have some rising talent with our DS libero position with Jasmine Mumphrey and Christian Thomas. So we're in a really good space, but next year we're going to graduate 8. So it's going to be a rebuilding year, but I think if we keep doing what we're doing competitively, and if we can three-peat, I don't see any issue with us getting the pieces that we need to be successful for the 27 season.
Oh, so I was going to say, you saying Fisk has a chance in 2027.
Nah, because like I said, we'll figure it out. We've got a list, but yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone's graduating, but again, everyone's recruiting to the next level. There were teams last year that you wouldn't even thought had a chance, and then this year you see them and you're like, oh, wow, they completely turned it around. Whether it's they got a new coach or just the coach really outdid themselves on the recruiting side.
Yes. Thank you, Coach. We're just so happy for you all. I just have a comment and a question. So I hope your student athletes definitely realize the type of coach that they have, and they definitely will be able to learn just from a lot of your experiences that you bring to them. And do you see yourself, one question is, do you see yourself recruiting back from Arizona, some of the players from Arizona? And then 2, can you just touch on and tell us what your Girl Scout game implementation is about?
Sure. So yes, I try to recruit Arizona as much as I can, but again, being that West Coast kid, that Arizona kid, it's sometimes hard to get that draw. You would think, oh, it's New Orleans, like who wouldn't want to go there? But the West is so saturated with all levels. At least in Arizona, there's no D2, but there's so many NAIA schools in Arizona. And a lot of times those kids, they want to stay local, to be close to their families. So I'm always reaching out to my friends that still coach. My best friend, she's the Saguaro head volleyball coach. Her player, my Bibby's daughter, she just committed to U of A. So it's like, I'm trying to get into those pipelines that I can get those players to want to be interested in coming to New Orleans. So I like to spread a very large net because I know I'm competing with D2s, D1s, but I'm going to recruit the best that I can. And the worst they can say is no. So I'm not scared of hearing no. And then to the Girl Scout games. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Talk about the Girl Scouts.
And then for the Girl Scout games, that started when I was at Loyola. And it's just, so we reached out to the Southeastern, I think, Louisiana Girl Scouts. We weren't able to do it this year or last year, but when I left Loyola and even when I went to University of the Southwest in Hobbs, New Mexico, we did a Girl Scout game there as well. And it's just another opportunity to get these young girls interested, asking questions about volleyball. So the goal was we set a game that we honor them, we acknowledge them, we give them a shout out. After the game, we sign posters, and then we do a free 1-hour mini clinic for all ages of Girl Scouts that attend the game. And that really helps us, shine a light not only on their organization, but volleyball in general. They get to make that connection, with the bigger girls, and it gives us fans, and sometimes lifelong fans, and they keep coming back. They see them out in the community, and that gives us an opportunity to give back to our community without always asking for a donation every time they see us.
Mhm.
I think that's awesome, Coach. I'm sorry, Dr. B. I just wanted to share because I was a troop leader, so I know how important that is. So way to go.
Thank you.
Coach, I just had one comment or question before we get out of here. Dillard University always has had excellent academics for their athletes, but students in general. And the university, I can't talk so much about Dr. Bell, your
Mhm.
athletic director, and others we interviewed. Give us a word on her. And then your university. And before you do, I want to congratulate your university in advance because they've been noticed by Mackenzie Scott and just like
Yes. I know. I was like, is that going to trickle down a little to athletics?
atmosphere. Say if you're recruiting a student, or if I want a student to come there, what is it that would say, hey, I want my kid to go there?
Sure. So Dillard, it's an amazing campus. It's beautiful. And the academics are strong. They have the support that they need. And you have the smaller class sizes so that the students and student athletes can get that one-to-one interaction with their instructors. When we recruit as a department, we make sure that we bring our recruits on campus. We want to have their families there. We want to engage with everyone during the recruiting process. We're introducing them not only to hopefully faculty and staff that they know what major they're interested in. Let's introduce them to a teacher, to a dean. We're taking them to the financial aid office, the business office, the registrar, academic counselors, because we want them to get kind of that whole experience. If they can sit in on a class, if they can spend the night in a dorm, just they go to the CAF, they get the whole Dillard experience. And the more people that they can meet, I think the more touches they get as to what it is. And like I tell recruits, like I tell my kids when we have recruits come on campus, like we're going to give them the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly, because there's going to be issues everywhere, but we control what we can control and we make the best of any situation. So I think when these families come onto campus and they see that we are truly a family as well, that sets us apart from other places where it's more of a business transaction versus this is a lifelong commitment even after you pass through the doors at Dillard. So that's what we do. And Dr. Bell is very adamant. She meets all of the recruits that come on campus. I can tell you from the recruiting side, when I went to Jackson State for my visit, when I went to Alabama A&M for my visit, I might have said 2 words to the AD. But then when I was on campus, I wouldn't have known them from any other adult. Dr. Bell definitely has a presence. She has a way of doing things to make sure that the brand is visible and it's shown in a positive light. She's tough. And we don't all see eye to eye, but again, it's like we know that she has our back and she's always putting the Dillard Blue Devil student athletes first before anything else.
Awesome. Stay right there, Coach Frankie, the championship coach. Before we get out of here, stay right there, Coach Jim.
Yes, Detroit Bullseye Sports is on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 9 on 107.5 WGPR HD2 Sports Rap app and the sportsrap.net. Check us out. Tell us how you feel.
And again, Coach Frankie, you're welcome anytime here. Champion, 2-time champion. We'll give it up. Yes, we are. And you always have a voice here. Thank you so much. You really do. Thank you so much. Next year, taking the next step, round 2, at least round 3. But hey, thank you so much for representing tonight. And hey, go Blue Devils. Even if this guy's going to say it, we want to say again from the bottom of our heart. Thank you so much for coming on Dr. Clifford and Trend Sports Talk. And to our audience, we'll see everybody back in 168 hours from now. Coach Frankie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Frankie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Frankie.
Thank you, Coach Frankie. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Good night.
God bless everybody. Good.
Goodbye.